get some of my best living done when I'm out running around and observing other people and how they're living their lives. And back in the winter, I was at a small store. It was on the second floor of a small building. And there, when you leave the store, you're out on a concrete stoop, and there may be 8 or 10 steps that lead down into the parking lot. And when I left the store, there was a little boy on the stoop, and he was having so much fun looking at all the wonderful things he could see. And as I walked out, I have to say, folks, I didn't see much that was particularly wonderful. There were some cars. A couple of them had people in them, maybe waiting for their loved one to get off work, but nothing terribly exciting. But this was a little 2-year-old boy, and that in itself was exciting for me. So I spoke to him, and I said, "Oh, look at this wonderful world we live in." And I said, "I'm so glad it makes you happy to see all these beautiful things." And he once again, he pointed to a car, and he said, "Look, look." And I said to his mom how wonderful it was for me to know that these little boys were being brought up. He had a little brother in her arms, so he must have been maybe a year old. He couldn't have been much older than that because the child was about 2. And I thanked her for bringing the wonder into their lives. And she said, "Oh, listen, they have it. They pay attention to all these things." And she said, "We really try to bring them up that way." And I was so appreciative. And when I was leaving, I thought about a poem by Mary Oliver. It's called Mysteries, Yes, with an exclamation point. And it begins this way. "Truly we live with mysteries too marvelous to be understood." Now, I don't believe anybody can argue that point. Truly we live with mysteries too marvelous to be understood. And some of them have names, the space probe. Now, if that's not a mystery to you, then you are a whole lot more in tune with astrophysics than I am. But some of them are more familiar to us. Chemotherapy, I couldn't tell you how it works, when it works. Other mysteries as well that are just too marvelous to be understood. And I think that I like living in a world like that. I like living in a world where mystery is more profound than absolutism, if that makes any sense. But the poem begins, "Truly we live with mysteries too marvelous to be understood." And this is how it ends. "Let me keep company always with those who say, 'Look,' and laugh in astonishment and bow their heads." I have to tell you, friends, I know I can be pretty dramatic sometimes, but I call that afternoon a spiritual experience for me. I can't speak for the little boy, but he was surely full of life that day. I think I learned a thing or two about how to invite other people into your excitement. Just stand there and say, "Look, look," and laugh in astonishment as he did. And then later, if you so choose, bow your head. Thank you.